Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different, and I'm sharing a DIY tutorial type of video. I had this idea. I've been really wanting a fireplace for some Christmas photography, and I decided to make one because they're pretty expensive to buy, like hundreds of dollars. So I wanted to make one out of cardboard. I did a ton of research online, and I came up with my own plans to make this. I thought I would just share it with you guys. Now, you might find that you want to modify this as you're going along. Maybe the pieces won't fit perfectly together, or maybe you won't have a certain item that I'm showing in here. That's totally okay. You can customize and make this however you want to, but I hope this video gives you some creative ideas and inspiration should you decide to make this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the tutorial now, and I hope you have fun watching. So to start off, I have these two trifold cardboard display boards that I joined together, and what I did was I just cut off one of the sides of each one. You can see the two pieces here that I removed, and then I butted them together in the middle, and I put a strip of tape on each side to make it secure so that it wouldn't be bending back and forth, and this is going to be your base. So the next step is to take those two side pieces that you cut off, and you want to put those in the front like you see here. You're going to tape along the seam of the edge and attach it together. And you can see here that on the outside part, the cardboard is brown. That's from the back of the trifold display. I will tell you guys how to address that in just a minute, but this is what it looks like when they are joined together. If you want to make it even more secure, you can use hot glue gun and just run it along the seams on the inside part. This won't show, but it will add stability. I am trying to make this as stable as possible, so that way if I need to move it around and pick it up, it's not going to completely fall apart on me. After taping the seam together and gluing it, I then added another strip of tape all the way down on each side. That just makes it a little bit more reinforced. And it's also going to help the contact paper stick on the edge a lot easier once I start covering this with contact paper. Be careful when you tape it to make sure that your tape stays really flat and doesn't have a lot of bubbles in it, because ultimately you will be putting contact paper over this, so you want to make sure that it stays as flat and smooth as possible. So then I'm taking another side piece that I cut from a third display board, and I'm adding it here so that it makes a perfect square all the way around. These are going to be the pillars for the sides of the fireplace. When you do this, you want to make sure that you have a perfect square all the way around, so make sure you measure it. Again, you want to hot glue gun that and then reinforce it with some extra tape on the seams. So now you're going to take a smaller trifold display, and this is one that I found at the Dollar Tree, and it just happened to fit perfectly inside the middle here. So this is going to be the middle fireplace insert where I put like the logs and the candles and stuff. So this is a separate piece here. Just a quick note on this step, I did end up slicing the back seam of the fireplace open again, and I decided to extend it a few more inches wide because I didn't want the trifold display in the middle to be too tight in there, and I also wanted to make the fireplace a little bit bigger. So you can see here I added pieces of cardboard over the seam, and that reinforces the back so that it is not wobbly. Something else you will want to do that is very important is to take some pieces of cardboard and to cut them so that they fit snugly inside the middle section of the pillars. This is entirely hollow, so if you go to pick it up, it's likely going to fall apart if you don't secure it and make it more durable. So you'll want to put these diagonally or horizontally, or however you want to do it, going across different sections. I did one in the middle, one at the top, and one at the bottom, and it made it so much more secure. Okay, so now we are finally coming to the fun part, and I say that somewhat sarcastically because it was fun to start decorating this, but at the same time, contact paper is such a pain to work with, and I wanted to scream so many times. So the contact paper I will be using to cover this, I decided on this marble design, and this one was one that I found at Walmart. It is the Easy Liner brand. I really liked the look of it. So then for the fireplace insert piece, I wanted to choose something different, something that would look like a subway tile. So this design I found at Target. So you can totally start covering your cardboard with contact paper, but if you remember earlier, I mentioned how one of the side pieces was brown. This is because it is the back of the trifold display. So I cut another piece of display board that was the same size. I ended up gluing it on there so that it would be white all the way around. Again, this isn't a step that you necessarily have to do, but if you want your fireplace to look even, you might want to cover that side piece. The second thing I decided to do was to take this extra roll of contact paper I had already at home. I didn't buy this, just to cover as kind of like a primer coat, I guess. I felt like the corrugation design from the cardboard might show through the one layer of contact paper, so I decided to do 2 layers. So you don't have to cover the whole thing twice if you don't want to, but that was just a step that I decided to do. So I think I forgot to film this step, but you'll notice on the front there is a border that goes all the way around, and that is something that I cut out of 2 pieces of foam board. I just cut them the exact same size. I taped them together at the seam, and then I covered the whole thing. Above that is this middle piece here, which was another display board from Dollar Tree that I cut and I flipped it the opposite direction, and you're probably wondering what these white blocks are up on the top. This is where it gets a little bit more complicated because these are some styrofoam blocks that I had hanging around from something I don't even know what it was, and I decided to use these on the top. So you probably don't have pieces of styrofoam laying around that you can use. You could look in a craft store and find something similar, or you could perhaps use white cardboard and make your own. So this is a step that you probably won't be able to do the same thing, but I'm just giving you guys an idea. This is how I did it. Hopefully you can come up with something similar. So for the final step, this is the mantle, and what I did was I took 3 layers of foam board and I glued them all together. I cut it to size, and then I covered that with contact paper. And then I also cut out these small trim pieces which I added just along the front and the sides. This gives the illusion of a thick piece of stone, and it looks a lot better than if you have it thin, plus it makes it more durable. So you want this top piece to be pretty solid so that you are able to put decorations and lightweight things up there without having it completely cave in on you. The final thing that I did was I took a wooden melamine board, and this is a shelf I actually had from my old DIY hamster cage that, again, it just happened to be the perfect size to fit under here. I don't even know how all of this happened, but I thought that it finished off the bottom a little bit nicer. You totally don't have to go out and buy a shelf if you don't want to spend the money on that, but it does make a really nice finish. So that is the end of my DIY cardboard fireplace tutorial. I didn't initially plan to make a tutorial, and I feel like some of my video clips in here might have been a little out of order and maybe confusing. I am not a tutorial type of person when I film videos, but I thought I would put this together for you guys. Maybe it'll help somebody or at least spark an idea. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!